The galaxy was quiet, but the quiet was wrong. Ships drifted in the dark, their lights flickering like dying stars. Everywhere, alarms blared. The alien fleets were in chaos. Commands shouted through the speakers, but no one could stop the panic. Planets far from the front lines trembled as explosions painted the blackness in red and gold. The air, if air existed in space, was heavy with fear. Commander Thalkar of the Zoran fleet gripped the edge of his bridge. His claws shook slightly. He had faced wars before, but something about this was different. "Where is the source?" he growled. His officers turned pale. They had all received the same signal: strange, powerful, impossible. It came from a small, blue planet far at the edge of their maps. Earth. Earth. A tiny world, barely noticed by the greater powers of the galaxy. And yet, this signal had called out like a beacon, promising danger, or salvation. Then, they saw it. At first, it was just a flicker. A tiny light in the darkness. But it grew. Ships, vast and shining, jumped out of hyperspace with a roar that shook the Zoran fleet. Steel gleamed, engines burned like twin suns, and formations moved with perfect precision. The humans had arrived. "Impossible," muttered one officer. "They are only a primitive race. They cannot fight like this." But the humans did not fight immediately. Their ships hovered, massive silhouettes against the starfield. They moved as one, silent and calm. Commander Thalkar's claws tightened. His mind raced. What were these humans planning? Why did they not attack? On the bridge of the lead human ship, Captain Elena Vasquez watched the alien fleets with quiet focus. She did not shout. She did not panic. Around her, her crew moved with precision, checking systems and weapons, ready for the chaos that would surely come. Elena smiled faintly. Patience. Let them make the first mistake. The aliens had underestimated humans for centuries. They thought them weak, simple, fragile. They had no idea that humans were clever, bold, and unpredictable. Thalkar tried to regroup his scattered forces. Form the line. Attack together. But the orders were too late. The humans were already positioning themselves strategically, slipping between alien ships as if they could see the battlefield before it even existed. The first shot fired from a human ship was not from a weapon. It was a decoy, small and fast, that drew out the nearest Zoran destroyer. When the destroyer followed, it triggered a trap. Hidden turrets on the human ship activated, firing with precision that no alien pilot had ever seen. The destroyer exploded in a blaze of fire, leaving a shockwave that scattered nearby ships. Thalkar roared in frustration. They are not just attacking. They are thinking, planning. They are playing with us. Elena's voice came over the comms, calm and clear. We are not playing, Commander Thalkar. We are saving lives. Your fleet is in our way. Step aside. The alien officers stared at each other. They had never heard such confidence. No fleet had ever spoken this way. Humans did not just fight, they dominated with strategy, cunning, and courage. The battle began slowly, with humans carefully testing the aliens' reactions. Small squads darted in and out, striking where the aliens were weak and retreating before retaliation could arrive. Each move was precise, almost artistic. And all the while, humans spoke little, their calm voices hiding minds that raced faster than any computer. Thalkar's officers began to panic. Sir, they are outmaneuvering us. How is this possible? They are humans, Thalkar said quietly, but even he did not fully understand. They are different. Hours passed, or maybe minutes, it was impossible to tell. In the darkness of space, time seemed meaningless. But every second that humans spent outmaneuvering the Zoran fleet was another second the galaxy's hope grew. Reports of human victories traveled faster than light itself. Small worlds, watching from afar, whispered in awe. Could this tiny blue planet truly hold the power to save the galaxy? Then, as suddenly as they had appeared, the humans paused. Ships floated, engines quiet, weapons ready but untouched. Elena's calm voice rang out across the dark expanse. We wait for them to reveal their hand. Only then do we act. The aliens were confused. Fear crept into their hearts. How could a small, unknown race stop them without a single full strike? What secret did these humans hold? Captain Vasquez walked along the deck, her eyes scanning the stars. She could feel the tension, the suspense, the uncertainty radiating from the enemy fleet. And she liked it. Humans thrived in moments like these, where courage and cleverness mattered more than size or firepower. Somewhere deep in the alien formation, Commander Thalkar whispered a question he could not answer. What are these humans capable of? And in the silence that followed, the galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath. For the first time, the universe realized that help had arrived. And it was nothing like anyone had expected. The calm did not last long. The human fleet had paused, waiting, but the aliens were restless. Commander Thalkar could feel it, his fleet's confidence slipping as fear spread like fire. Every ship in his command knew humans were different. They had underestimated them, and now the consequences were about to unfold. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the lead human ship, her eyes scanning the alien formation. Engage the first wave, she said quietly. The order was soft, but the effect was immediate. Tiny craft darted forward like shadows, weaving through enemy lasers. They were fast, almost invisible, and their movements were unpredictable. The first strike was not meant to destroy, but to confuse. Small explosions rocked the Zoran front line. Alien ships fired blindly, missing every target. Their formations broke apart under the humans' clever maneuvers. What seemed like chaos to the aliens was a carefully designed trap. One alien destroyer tried to chase a human scout ship. It moved faster than any Zoran pilot expected. The destroyer followed blindly, only to trigger a hidden mine left floating in the void. A brilliant flash lit the darkness as the destroyer shattered, pieces drifting into space. Focus fire on the main fleet. Thalkar roared. But his voice had lost authority. The humans were too smart, too precise. Every attempt to strike was countered with an unexpected move. They did not just fight, they predicted. They outmaneuvered. They made the Zoran fleet look clumsy. In the chaos, a human cruiser approached the largest Zoran battleship. It was a risk, a daring move that would have terrified any ordinary crew. But humans were not ordinary. The cruiser's weapons fired not to destroy directly, but to disable. Energy beams tore through shields, jamming systems without killing anyone. The battleship stumbled, confused and vulnerable, like a wounded predator. On the alien bridge, officers shouted in panic. They are attacking differently. They are thinking. Thalkar could feel the weight of his fleet's failure pressing down on him. Every human strike seemed designed to make the aliens doubt themselves. They were clever, but more importantly, they were fearless. Meanwhile, human engineers worked silently in the background, repairing minor damage, redirecting power, and preparing for the next move. Nothing was wasted, and everything had a purpose. Even the human silence during battle was part of the strategy. They let the aliens panic, letting fear do the fighting for them. Then came the moment that turned confusion into terror. A small human ship, almost invisible against the stars, darted directly into the center of the alien fleet. Its path was reckless, or so it seemed. But as it passed, hidden mines deployed in every direction, creating a barrier of fire that trapped several enemy ships. The aliens tried to escape, but the humans had anticipated every route. Explosions lit the darkness like fireworks. Ships disintegrated, torn apart not just by firepower, but by human planning. The Zoran fleet was staggering, losing control and coordination. The humans did not celebrate. They moved calmly, taking advantage of the chaos, striking where it mattered most. Captain Vasquez watched the battlefield with quiet satisfaction. Good, she murmured. Let them feel the fear. Let them learn the truth about humans. The aliens did not know how to respond. Every attack they tried was countered. Every formation they attempted to rebuild fell apart. Humans were everywhere at once, and nowhere at all. They seemed to think faster than the Zoran commanders, move faster than any pilot, strike more accurately than any weapon could allow. In the middle of the battle, a captured alien ship floated silently. Humans had taken it intact, studying its systems, learning secrets. They moved with efficiency and intelligence, leaving the galaxy's largest threat confused and fearful. Thalkar slammed his claw against a console. How are they doing this? They are not machines. They are humans. Yes, sir, an officer whispered, voice shaking. And they are better than any alien race we have faced. The humans' first strike was coming to an end, but the impact was permanent. The Zoran fleet was broken. The aliens realized that these humans were not just another opponent. They were something entirely new, something the galaxy had never expected. And yet, the humans did not pursue. They withdrew slightly, forming a defensive line, as if daring the aliens to act again. The message was clear: humans were in control. They would strike again, but only when the time was right. The galaxy watched in awe. Small planets whispered the name Earth, as hope spread like fire. For the first time, the lost and the oppressed felt that salvation had arrived. The humans were not just fighters, they were protectors. And their first strike had shown that brains, courage, and teamwork could defeat raw power. Captain Vasquez looked at her crew. "This is only the beginning," she said. "They have no idea what we are capable of." And in the vast darkness, the humans waited. Calm, patient, ready. The first strike had been a warning. The real battle was yet to come. The galaxy would never forget the day Earth's fleet arrived. The alien fleet had been pushed back, but their fear only grew. Commander Thalkar paced the bridge of his flagship, claws tapping against the floor. He could not understand humans. They were stronger, faster, smarter than any species he had ever faced. And yet, their weapons were not the deadliest part. It was their minds, their teamwork, their courage. Meanwhile, the humans floated silently in formation, watching. Captain Elena Vasquez studied the Zoran movements like a chessboard. Every flicker of light, every shift of an alien ship, spoke to her. She had learned that understanding the enemy was as powerful as any weapon. In a secure chamber aboard the lead human ship, scientists and engineers worked over the captured alien vessel. They had studied the Zoran ships during the battle, and already patterns emerged. Every weakness, every predictable tactic, was noted. Humans did not just fight, they learned. They adapted instantly. One young officer, Lieutenant Raj Patel, looked at the screens with wide eyes. "Captain, they're shields. We can predict them before they even fire." Elena nodded. "Exactly. Knowledge is power. The aliens fight with force, we fight with intelligence. That is why we win." Back in the galaxy, whispers spread among other civilizations. Small species who had been hiding from the war began to look at Earth with hope. If these humans could outsmart the Zoran, maybe they could save them all. Thalkar, however, had no time for whispers. His fleet was damaged, confused, and desperate. "Prepare the secondary fleet," he barked. "We will not let Earth's humans humiliate us." But humans were ready. Their fleet had not just attacked, they had observed, recorded, and anticipated. And humans thrived in these moments. They had something no other race possessed: ingenuity under pressure. Elena walked across the bridge, her boots silent against the metal floor. "They still do not understand," she said softly. "Humans never give up. Humans never surrender. That is our greatest weapon." The aliens prepared for another strike. Massive warships formed a blockade, hoping to crush the humans with sheer size and firepower. But the humans were patient. They had studied every possible scenario, every line of attack. When the aliens moved, humans anticipated. When the aliens struck, humans countered. A small alien fleet charged, confident and arrogant. They were fast, deadly, or so they thought. Humans waited until the last moment. then unleashed a counterattack unlike anything the Zoran had seen. Tiny human drones swarmed the alien ships, disabling weapons and engines. Meanwhile, larger human cruisers struck with pinpoint accuracy, hitting only where it mattered. The result was chaos. Alien formations broke apart, ships collided, systems failed. Thalkar watched in horror as his fleet crumbled. "Impossible!" he shouted. "How can they fight like this? How can a single planet produce warriors who do more than our entire empire?" On the human flagship, Elena looked at the screens showing the alien damage. "Because we are humans," she said simply. "We see problems as opportunities. We adapt. We survive." Even the alien prisoners, captured during the first strike, could not hide their awe. "Your species, you are different," one whispered, fear and respect in its voice. "We never expected." Elena smiled faintly. "Expectations are dangerous," she said. "We do not care what you expect. We care what is real." The human fleet did not stop to celebrate. Every strike, every maneuver was purposeful. Every human knew the mission: protect the galaxy, save lives, outsmart the enemy. And in doing so, they showed what it truly meant to be human: courage, intelligence, and unity. As the battle raged, humans revealed another secret: improvisation. When a human cruiser took heavy damage, it did not retreat, it adapted. Shields shifted, engines rerouted, weapons recalibrated. The aliens had never seen such flexibility. Every human ship could fight as if it were 10, each crew member acting in perfect harmony. In the heart of the Zoran fleet, Thalkar realized the terrifying truth. These humans were not merely another species to conquer. They were a force of nature, unpredictable, unrelenting, unstoppable. And worse, they were growing stronger with every encounter. Hours passed, or maybe it was days. Space stretched endlessly, but the humans never faltered. Their strategy, patience, and intelligence turned the tide completely. By the end of the day, the Zoran fleet had suffered losses it could not recover from quickly. Elena stood on the bridge, looking at the stars. "They still do not understand," she said. "The galaxy thinks strength is firepower. They think size is power. But humans are stronger than that. Humans survive. Humans think. Humans fight with heart." The aliens were left reeling. Commander Thalkar could only watch as his fleet limped away, beaten and humiliated. For the first time, the galaxy saw what humans were capable of. Not just warriors but saviors. And in the silence after the storm, the humans prepared for the next stage. Their secrets were simple, but deadly: intelligence, courage, and the unshakable belief that no challenge was too great. From that moment, the galaxy's hope rested on Earth. And humans were ready to prove why they were the most remarkable species of all. The galaxy held its breath. The Zoran fleet was broken, scattered, and humiliated, but the humans did not pause. They moved with precision, repairing minor damage, repositioning, and preparing for the next strike. Captain Elena Vasquez watched the stars like a hawk, calculating, predicting, always one step ahead. Commander Thalkar seethed on his bridge. "We cannot lose again," he shouted. "Prepare every weapon. Do not let them outmaneuver us a second time." His officers worked frantically, but the fear in their eyes betrayed them. Every decision felt heavier than it had before. The humans had shown the galaxy that size and firepower alone were meaningless. The humans struck first, as always, but differently this time. They did not rush. Instead, they encircled the remaining Zoran forces, cutting off escape routes and isolating key ships. Every human ship moved as if connected by a single mind. It was terrifying to watch. Where the aliens expected chaos, they found order. Where they expected attack, they found anticipation. One by one, the remaining Zoran ships fell into traps carefully laid out by humans. Small human fighters darted through gaps, striking weak points in the alien armor. Energy beams jammed shields, while drones disabled weapon systems. The aliens panicked, attempting desperate maneuvers, but humans had already predicted every move. From the bridge of her flagship, Captain Vasquez spoke to her fleet. "Hold your positions. Let them exhaust themselves. Do not underestimate them, but do not waste our strength either." It worked. The Zoran fleet grew frantic, disorganized, and desperate. Their confidence had crumbled after previous encounters, and the humans only reinforced their fear with clever, precise attacks. Systems failed, ships collided, and their formations fell apart. Then, something unexpected happened. A massive warship, larger than any the galaxy had ever seen, appeared from the dark void beyond the battle. It moved like a shadow, silent and unstoppable, its hull bristling with weapons. This was no ordinary ship. It radiated power, a force the humans had not yet faced. The humans paused, forming a defensive line. Captain Vasquez studied the approaching giant, her expression unreadable. "This is different," she said quietly. "We need strategy, not strength. They are not expecting us to think like humans." The giant warship advanced, and the Zoran forces tried to rally behind it. It was as if their last hope had arrived. But humans did not panic. They had faced overwhelming odds before and thrived. Every crew member understood that fear could be turned into advantage. The first exchange was terrifying. The massive warship fired its main cannons, creating shockwaves that rocked nearby ships. Some humans were damaged, but their shields held. Tiny fighters darted around the enemy's weapons, striking at weak points, distracting, confusing, and frustrating the alien captain. "Target their engines," Elena shouted. "Do not waste firepower on the hull. Make them slow. Make them predictable." The humans' plan worked. The warship, enormous and powerful, slowed as its engines were damaged. Small strikes, intelligence, and perfect timing had turned the impossible into a challenge that could be met. Yet even as they celebrated small victories, the humans knew the battle was far from over. Commander Thalkar watched in disbelief. His entire fleet relied on this warship, and now it was struggling. How can they do this again?" he muttered. "It is human." The humans' advantage grew as they adapted. Drones swarmed the massive ship's vulnerable points, while human cruisers coordinated strikes with surgical precision. Explosions lit the void, sending shards of alien metal spinning into the darkness. Even in the chaos, humans remained calm, patient, and calculated. They had learned to use their enemy's strength against them. Every move the warship made, they anticipated. Every strike, they countered. Hours stretched, the battle reaching a crescendo. The Zoran fleet was on the brink of collapse, and yet the massive warship remained a threat. It was slower, damaged, but relentless. Humans began preparing their ultimate tactic, a maneuver that required daring, coordination, and total trust in one another. Captain Vasquez gathered her senior officers. "This is the moment," she said. "We have beaten them before. We can beat them again. But now, we must act together, perfectly. One mistake, and everything fails. Are we ready?" Every officer nodded. Every human knew the stakes. They had trained for impossible odds before, and they had survived. This was another test, but humans thrived under pressure. The galaxy watched in silence. The humans had already changed everything. Their courage, intelligence, and teamwork had turned the tide against a powerful enemy. But now, with a new, massive threat in play, the outcome was uncertain. And Captain Vasquez smiled faintly. "Let them come," she said. "They will learn what humans are capable of." Again. The turning point had arrived. The humans were ready, the aliens were terrified, and the galaxy waited for the next move. The void of space was alive with fire and movement. The massive alien warship loomed like a mountain in the darkness, its weapons bristling, engines glowing red. Behind it, the remnants of the Zoran fleet followed desperately, hoping to regain some semblance of power. But humans had learned to fight impossible odds, and they were ready. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the lead human ship, calm as ever. "All units, form the strike formation," she commanded. Remember what we are. Remember who we are. Humans fight with mind, heart, and courage. Today, we save the galaxy. The human fleet responded instantly. Ships of all sizes moved in perfect synchronization. Tiny fighters darted between the massive alien hulls, drawing fire and creating openings. Cruisers fired precision strikes, hitting weak points and disabling weapons. Every human crew member acted as one mind, one heart, one unstoppable force. The massive warship fired its first volley. Explosions rippled through space, destroying smaller human ships. But humans did not falter. They had anticipated every attack. Shields absorbed the worst, and decoy drones distracted the rest. For every strike the alien made, humans had already planned 3 counters. Captain Vasquez turned to her tactical officer. Raj, initiate the main maneuver. Now. Lieutenant Raj Patel activated a coordinated plan. Hundreds of ships moved in a complex pattern, surrounding the massive warship. Small strike teams targeted engines, weapon arrays, and shield generators simultaneously. The alien captain roared, desperate to escape, but humans predicted every evasive move. In the chaos, one human frigate darted straight toward the warship's core. It seemed reckless, almost suicidal. But it was not. Hidden inside were experimental devices designed to disrupt the alien ship systems from within. The frigate launched its payload, and for a moment, the massive ship trembled. Now! Captain Vasquez shouted. The fleet struck as one. Every weapon fired with precision. Explosions tore through the alien hull. Shields collapsed, engines failed, and weapon systems went dark. The massive warship lurched, losing control. Pieces of debris floated in space like shattered stars. Commander Thalkar screamed from his bridge. No. This cannot be. How can they defeat us? Elena's voice was calm, firm, and confident. Because we are humans. We fight when others flee. We think when others panic. We survive when others fail. The remaining Zoran fleet, seeing their leader defeated, began to surrender or retreat. Small ships fled through the stars, while others were captured or disabled. The humans had turned the tide completely. The impossible was no longer impossible. Even as the battle ended, the humans did not celebrate loudly. They moved with quiet efficiency, tending to wounded ships, repairing minor damage, and securing prisoners. Their focus had always been on the mission, not glory. And in that focus, the galaxy saw why humans were extraordinary. Captain Vasquez looked at the stars, her expression thoughtful. It is done, she said. The galaxy is safe, for now. Reports came from distant systems. Worlds that had been silent for centuries now sent messages of gratitude. Life, which had been shadowed by fear, now hoped. Children on faraway planets would sleep a little easier tonight, all because a species from a tiny blue planet had refused to give up. Commander Thalkar, defeated but alive, stared at the humans. Respect and fear mixed in his gaze. They are different, he muttered. We could never have imagined. Elena allowed herself a faint smile. We are human, and humans are stronger than fear, stronger than doubt, stronger than even the most powerful alien fleet. In the quiet that followed, the galaxy took a long, collective breath. The humans had not only won, they had inspired hope. Every world, no matter how small, understood that Earth's fleet was a force of ingenuity, courage, and resilience. Captain Vasquez turned to her crew. Prepare to return home, she said. But remember, our work is never done. There will always be new challenges. And we will face them, as humans always do. The ships moved silently through space, leaving the shattered Zoran forces behind. Stars shone bright, reflecting off human hulls. The galaxy had been saved, not by power alone, but by the courage, intelligence, and determination of humans. And as the human fleet disappeared into the darkness, the legend of Earth grew. Stories would be told for generations of a small, blue planet whose people refused to bow, refused to flee, and refused to fail. The galaxy would never forget the day humans arrived, and the day they saved the stars themselves. The battle was over. Silence stretched across the stars, broken only by the hum of human engines and the distant drifting wrecks of alien ships. For the first time, the galaxy could breathe. The humans had won, not through sheer firepower, but through courage, intelligence, and unity. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of her flagship, looking at the scattered Zoran fleet below. Many ships had surrendered. Others had fled, carrying stories of defeat that would travel faster than light. The galaxy would remember the day humans arrived. "Captain," Lieutenant Raj Patel said softly, "they are broadcasting messages to every world. They're telling everyone about what happened." Elena nodded. "Good. Let them see the truth. Humans fight not to conquer, but to protect." Far across the galaxy, worlds that had hidden for centuries now emerged. Planets devastated by war celebrated quietly, sending messages of gratitude and relief. Children who had grown up fearing the stars could now look at them and dream. Humans had become more than warriors, they had become symbols of hope. On some planets, aliens who had opposed humans spoke of respect. Commander Thalkar, once proud and arrogant, now wrote to the surviving Zoran forces, "We underestimated them. We feared them. Now, we recognize them. Earth's humans are unlike anything we have ever faced." The humans did not linger to receive praise. They had saved the galaxy, yes, but they had learned a greater truth. Survival depended on courage, cleverness, and working together. Ships set course back to Earth, moving silently through the stars like shadows returning home. Captain Vasquez walked through her flagship, nodding to her crew. Each person was tired, but they held their heads high. They had seen fear, chaos, and destruction, yet they had acted with calm precision. That was what it meant to be human. That was their legacy. Lieutenant Patel approached her, a small smile on his face. "Do you think the galaxy will be ready for us next time?" Elena looked at the stars, distant and endless. "It doesn't matter if they are ready," she said. "Humans will always rise. We fight when others cannot. We think when others panic. And we protect when others fail. That is who we are." Back on Earth, news of the fleet's victories spread quickly. People cheered, not just for their triumph, but for what it represented. Humanity had faced the unimaginable and prevailed. They had shown that even a small, blue planet could protect an entire galaxy. In the weeks that followed, humans helped repair worlds damaged in the war. They shared knowledge, technology, and guidance, showing not just strength, but compassion. Every act reinforced the lesson the galaxy had learned: humans were different. Humans were extraordinary. Children on distant planets would hear stories of humans for generations. They would dream of courage, hope, and intelligence. They would learn that size, power, or wealth did not determine strength. Spirit and heart did. Humans had proven that, and the galaxy would never forget. Captain Vasquez stood one last time on the bridge before docking on Earth. She gazed at the blue planet, home. "We fought for more than victory," she said quietly. "We fought for every life in the galaxy. And we succeeded. Humanity is ready for whatever comes next." The fleet dispersed, returning to Earth's orbit and beyond. The stars seemed brighter now, reflecting the courage of humans who had ventured into darkness and returned victorious. Their story would live on, a legend for every species to remember. And far across the galaxy, in hidden corners and war-torn worlds, the whisper spread: the humans came. They fought. They won. And from that day, no corner of the galaxy ever doubted Earth again. The galaxy was changed forever. Humans had proven that courage, intelligence, and unity could triumph over any force. They had shown that even a small, unassuming species could become a beacon of hope, a protector of the stars, and a legend that would endure for generations. Captain Vasquez smiled, watching her fleet settle into orbit. The mission was complete, but humanity's journey was just beginning. The galaxy would always remember the day humans arrived, and the legacy they left behind.